all the ingredients in place with the engine, with the drivers, with the right partners, and obviously the car performing at a high level from the first race to the last race. So that was quite a case of never losing sight of what your goal, what your objective is, and retaining that motivation, and more than anything, the desire.
You mentioned drivers. Let's talk about Max for a second. The youngest Formula One driver I think it was ever. He joined in 2014 when he was just 17. You've often talked about his enormous passion for the sport, and when he's not in the car, he's in the simulator. How's that passion rub off on the rest of the team?
Well, I think the driver is very much the focal point. So he is, driving the incredible cars that the whole team are producing, and I think that he is at such a young age. It's often easy to forget that he's only a 24-year-old, and he's been with us a few years now. Joining, as you said, from when he was 17, years of age. But what with Max is what's been absolutely consistent from the very early days is that when he gets in the car, you're going to get 110%.
Let's talk about trust for a second. I'm a big believer in the importance of trust inside of a team. In your line of work, it's paramount. Especially critical is the trust between the driver and the car, and driver and mechanics, and the pit crew, and the entire organization. How do you talk about trust and get that inside the culture of the organization?
Well, I think you have to have a real honesty, within your organization, and trust is, the relationship between the driver, the car, the engineers, the crew. It's so important, but I think it needs to be an environment where people feel free that they can speak up. They've got a voice, and that voice will be heard, and that's whether you're the driver or the mechanic. You're still part of one team, one unit.
You said one time, I think, or maybe more than once, losing hurts. That if it doesn't, you don't know how to win. Can you learn more from losing than winning?
Of course, you always learn more on the days that you lose than the days that you win. And I think you just got to be open-minded, and mistakes are okay, but only make the mistake once. Learn from that mistake. What isn't acceptable is to make the same mistake twice. If losing isn't part of our mantra, and if it doesn't hurt, it shows that the passion isn't there.
Our theme this year for the team is win together. We have an opportunity in front of us to be a global leader in what we do, but it's going to require incredible teamwork. What's your advice about winning together?
I think success as a team is so much more rewarding, because it means that obviously all the departments have had to come together to work for one goal, for one objective, and I think that's no different to what we do. The Drivers' Championship has the recognition, but the one that really counts to us is the Constructors' Championship, because that's the team championship. That's where the revenues are distributed on, and so on. And nobody in this business earns one penny for the Drivers' World Championship, but they all get paid on the team Constructors' Championship. And working as a team, as a collective group, sharing in that experience is invaluable.
Christian, thanks again for your time. Good luck the rest of the year. I look for you to be at the top of the podium at the end of the year, and we're so happy to be part of the Oracle Red Bull Racing team.
Well, thank you very much for this partnership. It's exciting for us, and delighted to have you with us on what is sure to be an exciting journey.
We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Christian.
Thank you.
Matt, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Tell me a little about your role here at Oracle Red Bull Racing.
Sure. So it's my pleasure to be with you today. And I'm the CIO at Oracle Red Bull Racing, and my job is to set the agenda to use digital tools to improve our business and track performance. And we use technology to design the car, to manufacture our car, and to race the car. And we also need to have hundreds of staff working together as a unit.
Now, I got to believe much of what your team does is kind of a workforce in motion. Your team travels around sometimes. Others are here in the operations center. Some are working from home. Just talk about the dynamics you have to get overall support from that perspective.
Yeah, so our business is a very demanding environment. We make a very complicated product. The product evolves throughout the year. We go to 23 races in 23 different countries. So we have distributed operations, and we're always on the move. So to bring all of our staff, hundreds of staff members together, all with different disciplines, where you have one common goal and everything fits together, we need to provide the technology to enable that. And so, yeah, the technology is pervasive throughout the business, and we're really a key enabler for success.
Matt, we talked about 23 races during the season, and you had to put a team out every one of those. Tell me what it's like to actually build kind of a remote office 23 times a year.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. We send tons and tons of equipment, and the team shows up on a Tuesday or Wednesday before a race. They have to unpack everything, set it up into a functional space while people are flying in and expecting to do their job. And it's a really strange work or use case where we use it for 5 days and then we walk away for a year. So yeah, getting it set up on time, and when engineers come in, when the car comes in, everything needs to work perfectly, and we need to execute the few days before staff come in. And technology's actually played a role in doing that. We actually send fewer people than we used to because of video conferencing and unified comms enabling people to be effective here in the UK. So looking after fewer people means it's an easier job to set up. And then also communications is key for the first few days when we're not set up yet. People can still communicate and collaborate with their colleagues using video conferencing and unified comms.
How did the pandemic impact IT at Oracle Red Bull?
Yeah, had a massive impact. And historically, we were biased to having people on site, so we bounce into one another and work as a team by being face to face with colleagues. And over a 2 to 3 week period, when we had at max 40 remote users, we went to 500 remote users. And because of our ability to operate between track and factory and having mechanisms to use any tools anywhere, we had to scale that up from a few people to hundreds of people pretty much overnight. And it really was a key advantage to the team. It allowed people to work from home, but effectively as if they were back sitting here in our factory.
Given the success you had last year, it didn't seem to bother you much in terms of how the team executed pretty well last year.
Yeah, that's right. I think it actually gave us an edge. It allowed us to have a lot of home workers, but for them to still be really effective. And the use of video conferencing, the use of really graphically, numerically intensive apps, no matter where you're at, really allowed people to work from home and to be highly effective.
What brought you to Oracle Red Bull Racing, and what keeps you here and keeps you inspired?
Sure. So I've been with the team from the very beginning. And prior to working here, I worked at big global companies. And what I really liked about Red Bull Racing was the ability to be agile, to make things happen, and to really look and say, have I made a difference? And be able to directly say, yes, I know I've contributed to the success of the team. The culture with the team is also unique. We have a very technically and demanding environment. You also have the camaraderie of a sports team. So it's a really positive place to work.
Matt, thanks again for your time today. We're so pleased to be part of the Oracle Red Bull Racing partnership. Thanks for your time.
Great. Yeah, thank you. And we're proud to have Polly as a partner.
Great. Thanks. I'm now joined by Zoe Chilton, the head of strategic partnerships at Oracle Red Bull Racing and Oracle Red Bull Technology. Zoe, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, really good to be here.
Question for you to start off for our team is, we have a lot of alliances as well, more of a technology standpoint. What's an alliance mean to Oracle Red Bull Racing, and how do you really pick those alliances?
So when we think about, I mean, we call them partnerships because we want it to be that kind of real two-way exchange of innovation, of thought leadership, and finding the best solutions for the challenges that we face in our racing career. So we're looking for, in every sector that we have partnerships, we're looking for the best-in-class provider. We're looking for a partner not only that can, deliver us a great product or service, but also that understands the sort of challenges of our day-to-day. And the challenges of an F1 team are quite unique. So in some cases, we have, a technical requirement that is way over and above what you'd see in other sectors or other industries. And we look for partners who will help us meet those challenges. So sometimes that means pushing people a little out of their comfort zone. And we're looking for businesses that just relish that challenge and enjoy that rather than seeing it as a little bit scary.
How important are the partnerships to the overall Oracle Red Bull Racing strategy?
So I think for us, we're always looking at every opportunity for incremental gains on the track. Everything we do is designed to make the car faster or make the team perform better in some way. So our strategy in that respect is really simple. And I think all the partnerships that we work across, particularly the innovation partnerships like we have here, they're really critical to helping us find small ways that we can improve the efficiency, the effectiveness, that direct on-track performance in some instances. How do we bring just little pieces of improvement at every level on everything that we bring into the team? Everything that we don't make ourselves, we're bringing it in from an external supplier. How do we make it the best it can be? How do we work with the best in sector, the best in industry, the most innovative solution providers to help us gain those little incremental improvements that will ultimately help us to win races?
When you enter a partnership, how do you define goals for both sides to make it a win-win?
It's a really, really important part of our journey as a partner. So we want to sit down together at the beginning of the season and really outline what we think we need to, from a technical perspective, what we need to sort of get from this relationship, what our objectives are in terms of product integration, in terms of, functionality for the team members who are going to be using that. And then also as well, from a storytelling perspective, me and my team do a huge amount of work in terms of helping Polly and our other partners to, share that journey with their customers and really explain how you're helping us to go faster and to perform better and to be more of a collective team. So we want to set out some objectives for that as well, that we can help to, walk through during the season to really tell that story and deliver that on a global stage.
Poly has a lot of partnerships as well, more on the technology side with Microsoft and Zoom and Google, people like that. But this is a little bit different overall from that. How do you actually form a value proposition, if it were, for the partnerships? They really understand what the value they're getting as well.
So it's a really, sports marketing is quite a unique space here, and particularly within Formula One, our cars are effectively a really fast-moving billboard for all of our partners. That's ultimately what we're doing. But every member of our team as well, and you'll see the Poly branding on our headsets trackside. We are there to create visibility and we're there to create conversation about all the brands that we work with. But the exchange for that has to be a really serious value exchange. And what we're seeing from Poly has been a really important contribution of key tools into the business in ways that are helping us to bring team members together and, basically stepping into the void where we need better communications tools and where we're wanting to enable teams in a more active way.
Christian and I talked earlier today about 2010, 2013, you guys did quite well. And then there was a multi-year drought for a lot of reasons why, change regulations. 2021, Mac wins the driver championship. How do you keep your partners invested and motivated during those down times?
That's a tough question, isn't it? I think for us, again, going back to that fact that we're such an engineering and technology-driven business, if you give engineers a problem, all they want to do is solve it. So each season we get a new set of regulations that we have to adapt to. We have to basically start from scratch again with the car design. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of wipe away everything that happened last year. And it kind of doesn't matter whether you won or lost because the challenge for this season is new. And this is what sort of keeps that challenge fresh year on year on year. I've been with the team quite a long time. There are people who've been here, 10, 15 years, and the challenge is new every year. And I think that's what keeps our partners engaged as well. It's that feeling that anything is possible every year you go racing because the rules are fresh, all the challenges in it are fresh. Everything is going to be a new sort of wide open playing field for everyone to get their teeth into and enjoy. And that is what makes it, from an engineering and from a technology perspective, so motivating to kind of go on that journey with us season after season. And it's, again, that very emotive journey of, we want our technology to be proven out to be the best. And that applies to our partners just as much as it does to our engineers.
Zoe, thanks for your time today. I certainly appreciate it. More importantly, Poly is so excited about this partnership. Look forward to seeing you this year.
Absolutely. We're delighted to be working with you guys. And I know already really exciting, as you say, seeing the product roll out across the factory and seeing the branding trackside. That's what we want to see this year. But we are also really excited for more goodies in the factory as soon as possible.
We look forward as well. Good luck this year.
Thank you so much.